The phone vibrated just as you were about to fall asleep. Not sharply, not like a notification or a ringtone, just briefly. As if someone touched your consciousness, not the device. You didn't open your eyes right away. You just lay there, listening to the silence of the apartment. Outside the window, night, thick and unmoving. The clock on the microwave glowed green, 2:17. The phone was lying on the nightstand next to the bed. It wasn't vibrating anymore. You sighed and reached for it, already knowing you'd see another pointless notification, an ad, a network error, a message from your carrier. The screen lit up, and your heart skipped a beat. Missed call. From Maxim. You slowly sat up in bed. Maxim had died a year ago. You stared at the name for several seconds without blinking, then you blinked. The screen didn't change. Missed call 2:16 duration. 0 o'clock. This is a glitch. You whispered to yourself. Maxim was your older brother. He died in a car accident exactly 1 year and 3 days ago. You remembered the date down to the smallest detail because that was the day you had your last argument with him. You never answered his call that day, just like now. You opened the contact, the photo, the same one, an old kitchen selfie where he's laughing, holding a cup of coffee. The number saved, not changed, not deleted. You scrolled through the call log, only one entry, no strange numbers, no spam calls. Impossible, you said out loud. The phone had been with you the whole time. It couldn't dial itself. And it definitely couldn't receive a call from someone who no longer existed. You felt a cold sensation spread through your chest. And at that moment, the phone started ringing.
The sound was normal, the same ringtone you had set long ago, neutral without a melody. On the screen, Maxim is calling, you didn't move. The phone rang on the nightstand as if it knew you were looking at it. 1 second, two, three. Your palms became sweaty. This can't be him, you said. It's a malfunction, a prank, number spoofing, but the number was his with all the saved symbols, even the emoji you once added. You didn't want to answer, but the call didn't stop. Finally, you reached out and pressed accept. Hello, your voice betrayed you, trembling at first silence, then breathing slow, heavy. You took a long time, a familiar voice said. A chill ran down your spine. Maxim, you whispered. A pause hung on the line. You never called me back that day, he said quietly. I waited. You jumped out of bed. That's impossible, you shouted. You're dead. The breathing in the phone came closer, as if he leaned toward the microphone. Did you see my body? Maxim asked. You froze. The coffin had been closed. The doctors said the injuries were too severe. You remembered that. You remembered not having the courage to insist. You were at the funeral, he continued. But you didn't say goodbye. Stop, you whispered. I called you 1 minute before the crash. You closed your eyes. You remembered that call, remembered rejecting it, remembered thinking I'll call back later. I wanted to tell you something important. His voice grew duller. Now I have a little time again. Where are you? You asked, not knowing why. He smiled. You could hear that smile. Somewhere with very bad reception. But I can call if you let me. The phone screen suddenly went dark, then words appeared. Allow permanent access, yes/no. Don't press no, Maxim said quickly. Otherwise, I'll disappear again. What do you want? Your voice shook. Just to talk, like before. You stared at the screen. Your finger hovered over the button. You're not him, you said. You're something else. Silence. Then the voice became lower. And if that's true, does it really matter? The light in the room flickered. You pressed yes. In that instant, the phone turned ice cold. Thank you, he whispered. Now I can call more often. More often, you repeated. Every night the call ended, the phone went dark, and a second later it vibrated again. Incoming call. Maxim, the calls became regular. Every night, exactly at 2:16. At first, he talked about small things, childhood memories, old jokes, things only the two of you knew. You began waiting for those calls, even felt afraid when one night he was a minute late, but over time something changed. You're lonely, he said one night. No, you replied, I have friends, but they don't know who you really are. You didn't answer. I know, Maxim whispered. I can see you. You looked around. Where? You asked, near the phone. The light flickered again. You shouldn't have pressed yes, he said, no longer fully his voice. Now I can come closer. Come closer? You stepped back toward the wall. The phone rang again, but this time it wasn't in your hands. It was ringing from behind your bedroom door. You slowly approached the door. The ringing came from just outside it. Open it, Maxim's voice said, no longer through the phone. I waited so long. You placed your hand on the handle. And at that moment, your real phone vibrated in your pocket. Missed call 216 from. You understood then that a year ago, the call hadn't been from Maxim. and now someone else had learned how to call from the inside.